Hello viewers, Saturday Night Hangout 3/14/2026. I'm going to make some food and we'll watch some videos. The food portion of this video is going to be a little more drawn out than some of the previous episodes because this is going to double as a food review. We are going to be preparing and scrutinizing beyond all recognition the Motor City Pizza Company Detroit-style deep dish pizza. I'm not typically one for frozen foods because I know how to cook, so I just do. But this came very highly recommended by Kevin, so we're going to give it a shot. This is a deep dish style pizza. And given the choice between the two, I would take a crispy thin crust pizza over a deep dish pizza. But I like all pizzas. And I've had plenty of very good deep dish pizzas over the years, and I can compare this to those. What I cannot compare this to is other frozen pizzas. I don't think I've ever personally cooked a frozen pizza before. I've probably had a couple over the years, but nothing that I can really remember off the top of my head. So I've got nothing to compare this to in terms of other frozen pizzas, but I will compare this to some very good deep dish pizzas I've had from local restaurants in this state over the last couple of years. I have a couple of gripes with this right out of the gate. No, two of them. The first one is the price. This is very expensive, coming in at $11.99 at the local grocery store here, which is probably one of the most expensive ones in the area. Kevin did tell me that you can get this for a couple dollars cheaper at other retailers such as Costco, I think he said. But even at a couple dollars cheaper, I still think this is pretty steep. Now again, I'm not familiar with the prices of frozen pizzas, so maybe this is normal, but to me, on the occasions that I buy frozen food, it's to save money. I'll buy frozen vegetables quite frequently because they're cheaper than fresh ones. And that having been said, there's a couple pizza restaurants in the area that will make a personal pizza on the spot, like for lunch, instead of serving slices, which was a change that took place during the COVID era. And that's actually one I think is good because I'd rather buy a fresh baked personal pizza than a slice that's been sitting out for an hour. This fresh one tastes better. But there's pizza restaurants in the area that you can go and get a personal pizza about the size of this one for $5.99, cooked fresh to order on the spot, which has to be better than this. And you're supporting a local business and it's half the price. So this has to really, really impress to be worth the $11.99. There are other reasons that people would buy frozen food. If you can't go to a pizza restaurant, if you don't have one around, if you don't want to deal with the general public, etc., etc. There's plenty of valid reasons to stay home and eat. This has its use cases, but if I'm spending that kind of money, I want something fresh. My other gripe with this is the list of ingredients. And this camera does not focus up very close, but I will try to get this in the frame as much as possible when it's still clear. This is the list of ingredients from here all the way down to here. I think that there's got to be at least 40 items in here. Now, I am not a health fanatic by any means, but I generally try to make reasonable choices when it comes to food. There are certainly vices I have, such as soda and ice cream. And I do eat junk on occasion. We're going to eat junk tonight. But reading through this list, it's like, what on earth? I can make pizza here at home, and I'll prepare the dough, from the flour and everything, and you put maybe 15 ingredients. And you put yeast, a couple of types of flour, some vegetable oil, some salt, and then you use tomatoes and some cheese and a couple of different spices. I haven't made pizza in a while, so I forget all the ingredients offhand, but not that it's ever a health food by any stretch of the imagination, because it's still very high carbs, but it's relatively clean and you can identify all of the ingredients that are in it. Half of these things, probably more than half, as far as I'm concerned, are not even food items. They're more like poisons. I'm going to read this just because it's probably not coming in clear on the video. So I'm going to read this just so you can see what, or rather hear what's in here. This contains crust, enriched wheat flour, niacin, reduced iron, thiamine, monotrate, riboflavin, enzyme, folic acid, water, oh that's good, soybean oil, pre-mixed blend, glucono delta lactone, salt, sodium bicarbonate, dough conditioner blend, enriched wheat flour, niacin, reduced iron, thiamine, mononitrate, riboflavin, folic acid, yeast, vital wheat gluten, L-cysteine hydrochloride, soybean oil, ascorbic acid, vitamin C, enzymes, cellulose gum, sodium propionate, we're only halfway through, sodium propionate preservative, sugar, yeast is listed twice, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Flavored oil blend, palm oil, corn oil, natural flavors, beta carotene color, cheese blend, shredded, low moisture part skim mozzarella cheese, cultured pasteurized part skim milk, salt, enzymes, powdered cellulose, anti-caking agent dehydrated seasoning blend, oregano, basil, red bell, ding, pepper, parsley, sauce, water, tomatoes, seasoning blend, salt, sugar, spices, dehydrated garlic, dehydrated onion, pepperoni, pork, beef, salt, spices, dextrose, lactic acid starter culture, natural flavor, paprika oleoresin, sodium ascorbate, sodium nitrate, citrus acid, wheat milk. That's outrageous. Now let's eat all those poisons. Good grief. Okay, so this says cooking instructions. Conventional oven baking instructions. Preheat the oven to 425 degrees. Okay. I always like to make sure that there's nothing dwelling within the oven first. 450. I don't think that was the number it said, was it? Nope, it said 425. Okay, then it says, prepare the pizza. Once oven is preheated, remove pizza from plastic. Oh, there's plastic film in here too. Remove pizza from plastic wrapper, but keep pizza in tray. All right, let's open this up here. There's a lightning bolt there for electricity. This is okay to go in the oven? That's certainly not what I was expecting when it said tray. All right, let's get this opened up here. I know it says not to let it thaw until it's done preheating, but it takes me so long to do everything. By the time I get this open, it's probably going to be heated up. I see some water here. I guess that's the water it was talking about in the ingredients. The pepperoni is all discombobulated on there. I'm gonna have to fix that. No, there's no towels in here. Not good. We might have a liquid spill. All right, so here's what it looks like. I'm gonna move this back around here. You know, it looks like the cheese is no longer on the thing the way that it should be either. I'm going to see if I can correct that a little bit. See, this is why we took it out before, because it's going to take me forever to get it ready to go in the oven. Yeah, this cheese has totally come off of here on all sides. And I think I'm going to do, I'm going to move this onto a plate, and then we'll just pour the cheese back on the top. Yeah, look at all this cheese that fell off. I'll try to get all this cheese back on there. Yeah, it was a loss of a lot of cheese, but that's good, we got it recovered. Looks like there might be some seasoning that was in the bottom of there too. And we've got cheese all over the floor now. That's fine, we just had to vacuum again. Okay, let's put this back in here. Oh man, that is cold. So sick of the cold. And speaking of cold, it is bitter cold out today. It seems to have calmed down for the moment, but the wind has been off the charts today. Very, very strong wind gusts. Well, the clothes are dry, that's good. All right, I'll put this over here for now. Make sure you can see the television set. I'll make sure this stays over here. I'm not going to put it on top of the oven because it'll start to thaw out. So it says to bake it. Oh, hold on, we're not there yet. It says the tray should be 6 to 8 inches from bottom of oven and not touching oven walls or door. Well, why the heck would you position it so that it touches the walls of the door? For best results, bake only one pizza at a time. Oh, we only have one, so it's not a concern. Yeah, it's about 6 to 8 inches from the bottom. Bake for 18 to 21 minutes. Once cheese is melted, remove pizza from oven. Yeah, I feel like it would be melted long before 21 minutes. Tray and pizza will be hot. Oh, I'm so glad it told me that. I thought it was going to come out cold. Serve and enjoy. Let stand 5 minutes before eating. Remove pizza from a tray before cutting. I think I have a pizza cutter. Yeah, here it is. Well, this would work too, but we'll use this circular one. Pizza cutter. All right, let's turn on the computer here. And make sure the ceiling fan is in the frame. Looks like it is. I used to keep the keyboard here so we could type in a password, but then I realized that it was easier to
Make your
just
computer easier to use. Windows will read and scan this list. Type without the keyboard. Keyboard. Okay.
It was just easier to put the on-screen keyboard on and type in the password. And it makes an interesting sound too. Okay, and then we can just shut the on-screen keyboard and open this. It just finished. Okay, let's put this in here. I'll make sure that it doesn't touch the walls or the door of the oven, because you know that's a very common mistake that people make, is put the pizza up against the door. Okay, it's in there. It's not touching the door. And I'm gonna put this timer on. Oh yeah, fix that. I guess we could fix that now. Put this timer. Gotta turn it past 30 and go back to, put it to 18. This is a very cool timer. It's a tomato. Okay, so the problem with this cabinet here is that the stopper is too far down, and that's why it hits there at the top. So we have to move this up to the top like this. And now it should not slam anymore. Well, it still slams a little bit, but it's much better. You can hear it's hitting the stopper now. Is the same problem on the other side? Yeah, it is the same problem on the other side. Just move this stopper over a little bit. Or up. Move that stopper up. There, that's much better. Good, that's fixed. Oh, best it can be anyways. Alright, so we got some time to go here before the pizza is going to be ready. We got about 16 minutes left. Let's see what videos we should watch tonight. Let's see what Incandescent Ed has for us. Melting snow equals water in the basement. Yup, that is often the case. We're going to watch the video called There is a Mouse in Another House. That might be entertaining.
Alright, today we are going to move a refrigerator at the alternate location. We have, originally there was a mouse in the house. We got the mouse out of the house. Actually, I didn't get the mouse out of the house, but I came here. I was assigned to help get the mouse out of the house. But what we're going to do is move this vintage, I'm putting it nicely, vintage refrigerator out from behind the wall, because we thought it was back there, but it's not. But because we got talking about it, we're like, well, I don't think ever in the history of the life of this refrigerator it's been like vacuumed out underneath at the bottom. So this could be a potentially messy and frustrating project. So we're gonna try to move it. So I'm gonna do my...
It's important to clean the refrigerator condenser twice a year even is good.
My best. And move this out. And if it does smell. I can smell it from here. Nothing really. You just have to walk it out because I can't get my arms around it to pull it straight out. So you just gotta have to walk it out.
That refrigerator is not set up properly because there should be wheels on the bottom, or it's not set up properly. He's not moving it properly. Refrigerators have wheels. They're on wheels. And I don't know if I'll be able to see it because the video, it might be too dark. You can kind of see it. See, when you're not moving the refrigerator, there's a post here which you can turn. It's a stationary leg. You can lower this stationary leg down to lock it in place. And then when you want to move it, you screw this up and then it's on wheels there. And it very easily slides in and out. So this is not being moved properly. It's very important to know, not necessarily enough to fix everything, but you got to know how everything in the house works to some extent so that you can take care of it easily. Incandescent Ed is working so much harder now than he has to because he doesn't understand the way the refrigerator works.
Not knock the TV off the wall in the process.
Not good. There's the this phrase.
That's why we're doing this. I brought gloves and a change of clothes because I thought, yeah, that's why I brought a change of clothes. So, whoops. You didn't see that or hear that.
I heard it, but I didn't see it. This is so painful to watch. A fridge is so easy to move. Look, I pull this one out twice a year to clean it. It's just, and I just leave it in moving position. Whoops, so now it's open, but if you can get behind it, it glides. It glides, I don't want to pull it too far, but see this glides very easy. You don't have to go crazy with it. See, it just moves. It's on wheels. Easy. And now the floor is going to get all scratched up.
Oh yeah. Yep, and this is why we're doing this. Okay. So
Good grief.
got back here.
What the
No
heck?
mice. No mice, but a ton of cobwebs. And
So this refrigerator might actually not need to be cleaned as regularly because it doesn't seem to have a fan-forced condenser. It's not a bad idea to dust that condenser off a couple times a year, but this refrigerator has a fan-forced condenser, and so it's drawing air. It draws air underneath like this, and it pushes it out the back. And so the actually no, this one is not like that. I don't think this has a front drawing fan. It might just draw it in the back, which is not a very good design. But this has a fan that draws air over the coil, and so it brings in all the dust. And because it's warm, it's like a dust magnet, and it just becomes caked with dust. So it's very important to pull it out on the wheels, just gently roll it out, and then clean it out. All right, let's see what we got here.
so this is what we have to clean while we're back here. And then after she does that,
Doesn't look like too much is
I
happening
take the
yet.
shop back and try to get in there and clean as much as I can on the refrigerator.
And while we're scrutinizing things, I'm going to add this to the list. This light switch. You push it up to shut it off, and then you push it down to shut it on. Well, what the heck is that? Now, yes, it has the icon on there, so you push the icon to shut it on, but you should push the top to shut it on, but instead that shuts it off. The other thing that's screwed up about this is this control. $400. If you notice here, the pointer points to where it is. Well, this pointer always points to off. Why do you use this labeling here on these and then do this? I guess this dot is what indicates the set. Why would you not put the temperatures around here and have the pointer point to the temperatures like it does on the stovetop units? What? Who designs this stuff? Ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. All right, let's get back to watching Ed struggle with his refrigerator.
I'm glad I brought a change of clothes because I just envisioned laying on the floor. like shop vacuum that thing out.
Yeah, I wouldn't allow that.
Well, that's why I brought change clothes, so I can lay on the floor and shop vac. I brought a pair of work gloves,
Well,
but those are good because they're
yeah,
disposable.
exactly. Alright, so.
Yeah, you have to get back to it. So what I said,
And trash bags and then.
where are they in here? Let me open the door.
Just remove the door. It's removable.
Are they in here?
Yeah, they're like white, they're like actually like other than half. Come towards me. There you go. And then like huge,
I'm used to the blue bags.
and then which other glass up in here.
Okay, wipes. So does it make sense to like shop back that wall? Like just try to vacuum those cobwebs up?
Fine.
What?
Yeah, but I just wanna like,
What's down there?
not poop.
Is it?
A lot.
I can't see without my glasses.
It's hard to remember.
Oh my gosh.
That's all I'm.
Well, that's why we're doing this. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bad.
And so what I have learned from like the pest guys, Fowler, what? They had said to me, and it makes sense that their pheromones, like when they travel like through a path, they like use the same path because their pheromones, like they smell. So it is probably really good to clean all of this. And I don't know if bleach and all that gets rid of the pheromone smell, but it
That's a good question.
but if somebody knows that, drop that in the comments. Does bleach remove pheromones?
Yeah.
I have no idea about the pheromones, but I do know that when it comes to eradicating mice, at least for the mice I've eradicated in this building, the best thing you can do is shut the entry point. Find where they're coming in and stop the problem at the source, as opposed to trying to trap them inside or spray things inside or spray deterrents or clean up pheromones. The most effective thing to do is find where they're coming in and block up that hole. And that has the beneficial byproduct of making the house more airtight in the wintertime with heating and keeping humidity out in the summertime.
So next time I smell someone at the gym, I should just wipe them with one of those bleach wipes.
Probably.
Too much body spray? I'm gonna Clorox your glands.
Is there a bleach spray in that cabinet?
I don't even know.
Maybe.
Windex.
I'll just keep it this.
Okay. Is it good?
No.
Yeah, I just can't wait to get under there and vacuum, because they'll probably go up into the refrigerator.
They probably did because it's warm in there.
This is like,
It's gross. That's
horrible.
I've cleaned up a lot of mouse poop over the years in this house. Wiping it with a wet wipe is not the best thing because it gets wet and then it smears. The best approach, in my opinion, for cleaning up mouse poop, and sorry, I've been ragging on you this whole time, vacuum it first. You know, if you got a vacuum with a bag that's ready to be changed out, vacuum it first and then cancel out that vacuum bag because it picks up very easy when it's dry. And then once you've got all the chunks cleaned up, then you can go back with your disinfecting wet wipe, as you're seeing now, and then you can clean the surface. It'll be a lot easier that way, from my experience.
Absolutely horrible.
I should put a microphone on you so people can hear what you're saying.
I don't think they want to get rid of them.
So when Eddie's in the videos and he has the microphone on him and he's kind of like talking to himself, but not like he's like half talking to himself and half talking to like the viewers. So I'll tell him to speak clearly, and he'll say, I'll say, nobody can hear you, speak clearly. And he'll say, I don't want people to hear me. When you're wearing a microphone, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah. They're gonna hear you.
Yeah. You know, we should probably, I'm like kind of stuck over here, but I was going to suggest turning on the lights in here so you can see better.
Okay.
I mean, I could probably like straddle over the countertop, but no. Don't do that.
So, I'm gonna need to put more steel wool here because they're absolutely getting in from here.
Okay. That could have been where this one came in from.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I
so,
think that because of the storm, they were.
Yeah, it's good. So they've already got the entry point issue taken care of, or in the process of being taken care of. Okay, so we're down to only about 2 minutes left on this tomato. And it's looking a little bit brown to me. So I'm going to lower this. And maybe we'll just take it out now and check. And this is where I don't like baking, because you let it go a minute or two too long and then the whole thing is busted up. We'll probably need something like this maybe to try taking it out with this. We'll just put it over here. At least it'll be nice and warm now because we used the oven. Okay. So here is the pizza. And I think it might be a touch overdone. No, actually not. Actually not. So it says to let it sit for 5 minutes. So we'll let it sit for 5 more minutes. Put 5 minutes back on there. And we'll shut this oven light off. We don't need that anymore. So that's what the pizza look like right now. We're going to have to transfer it to something else to cut because it's forbidden to cut in there. So we'll put it, will it fit on this? No, not really, but we might just go with it anyways.
Thing for warmth
yeah,
and
some home cooking.
some home cooking, some fresh sheets on the beds, fresh towels in the bathroom. Nice place to set up a family.
Yeah. It's interesting that they come in because they must have been pretty desperate, because I do know, as you know, at the main location that I keep a radio on and a light on in the garage, and I keep lights on in the basement, and I do look for mouse droppings like when I'm like in the garage. Like I don't like walk around looking for it, but I like where the tool bench is, there's like this, like where I keep that power strip. I always wondered if like they ever, so I first got the house and I was sitting at the garage before we moved in, I saw mouse droppings there, and I never saw them since. After, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, which I have the thing to fix it, I just haven't fixed it. I will. No. I also think the dog has something to do with keeping them away. I think his scent, I really think his scent is probably pee around the perimeter of the house. There you go. What do you need?
Can you open the other cabinet door?
Should I just tear it off?
Yeah, see that bottle with the white?
This one? This one? This one?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, there is they went to the bathroom back there, so it is like a bathroom.
Can I have,
Which one?
the purple bottle? I think that one.
This one?
Yeah.
By the way, like I know you like safe sprays and things and cleaners, but I feel like for this type of job you need the absolute most
Yeah.
volatile, destructive chemicals possible.
Definitely doing bleach for this.
Yeah.
100.
I know we're complaining about this, but I am actually very glad that we're doing it.
Yes.
I'm not surprised there's mouse droppings back there. That's why I was like, we still have to do this.
I know. I wish that he came around.
You wish you came later? Oh. Oh, they already were here.
I think there's steel wool.
I think you need to fire them.
Yeah. I think there's steel wool in that cabinet I just got it. And once this is clean, this whole backside has to be glued in.
With steel wool, so there are holes.
You know, it's hard to tell if like, it's just the floor curling up or...
Right.
But they went to the groceries and said that any like openings they could see coming up into the house were all sealed.
Yeah.
But ew, spray.
What?
Ugh, cobweb.
Oh.
Yeah. Look at my leg.
Again, that's why I brought
Yeah.
a change of clothes. Not that the clothes I'm wearing are like dress clothes. They're sweatpants and a pull a recorder set.
The timer didn't work because I forgot to put it past 30 first. Well, anyways, it's been 5 minutes now, so we can put pizza onto this plate and we'll try to cut it. It's slightly stuck to the pan here, but not too bad. This pizza cutter works a lot better than I was expecting to. This is one of those things I just bought at the grocery store, like on one of those hanging things next to the shelves, and it was real cheap. I wasn't expecting it to work, but it's actually working pretty good. I think it even cost less than the pizza did. Okay. No, it's not burned on the bottom. Looks pretty reasonable on the bottom. It's a little bit crispy on the outside, not beyond reason, just kind of perfect there. But when you get towards the center, it's no longer crispy at all. It looks pretty decent. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I can tell it's not fresh though. I can tell it's been frozen. Because there's always a slight consistency change when you freeze something. And try as they might with all these weird ingredients, you can never fully avoid that. But it's not bad. It's a very light dough, very airy dough. Decent flavor. It's not fooling me. I can tell it's a frozen pizza, but at the same time it also doesn't scream frozen food by any means. A lot of times frozen foods are very rubbery and have a very strange consistency. And this, you know, while I can tell it's definitely been frozen, it's not particularly obvious. If you put this in with 2 or 3 other pizzas and given to a bunch of people, I'm not sure that the average person would be able to pick this out as being a frozen pizza. I think the only thing I'd say about it that I don't like, and this is kind of what's lacking here, different pizzerias, at least around here, a lot of them make their own sauce, and the sauces have a very distinct flavor from restaurant to restaurant. This is a very generic tasting sauce. This sauce does not taste like something that somebody homemade recently. It just tastes like a generic pre-made sauce. It's not a bad flavor, but it doesn't have like that authentic pizzeria flavor to it. But that's really all I'd say about it. That's bad. You know, the crust is very good. It's soft and completely consistent all the way to the edges, which is hard to do. It's hard to get pizza crust to be consistent throughout, but this is very airy and light. It doesn't have like a very heavy, greasy consistency to it. Reasonable amount of cheese, reasonable amount of sauce. For something that came out of a box that takes nothing to prepare it, that's pretty good. Is it an $8 pizza or a $12 pizza? That's a bit of a stretch. If this was baked in person 5 minutes before I ate it, I could see paying $12 for it. But on the other hand, there is enough here. I can get 2 meals out of this. I think half of this is probably a good single sitting consumption amount. So it's not $11 per meal. It's $5 per meal, and that's reasonable. That's down to the price of the local pizza joint. Because this is thick crust, it goes a lot further. The one at the local pizza restaurant is thin crust, so it's not anywhere near as filling. But overall, yeah, I think this is a good pizza. It's a little pricey. The ingredients are really dodgy, and it doesn't have a particularly interesting sauce. It's not unique, but I don't really have any complaints with it. I think it's a pretty good pizza. So I'll have the rest of this pizza now, and maybe I'll bring up a video from the, I'll go back and watch the rest of this later. Yeah, I'll bring up a video from the mentions. Here we go. Here's a comical user manual. This is from the channel entitled Random's Paradise.
Alright guys, so today we're going to be looking at a Tech Trends Retro Mini Wireless Speaker Stereo Sound EP 5.1. Retro Mini Wireless Speaker, charge time 2 to 3 hours with 5 to 6 hours of playback, Bluetooth version 5.1, 3.7 volt 400 milliamp lithium ion battery, power supply DC 5 volts 800 to 1200 milliamps, range 10 meters, transmitting frequency 50 Hz to 18,000 Hz, includes retro wireless speaker, USB charging cable, 3.5 millimeter audio cable, user manual. Guaranteed quality, guaranteed. Made in China. Here's some more features. Super low standby. Stereo sound. High fidelity HD. Micro HD TF. USB play. 3.5 millimeter audio port. So, setting this up. Here's our radio. What I'm more interested in is the user manual. I want to see if it's got some bad quality info. So, DW21 and Chinese. This is it. User manual. DW21. Function description. Long press the previous song / short press DWS. Long press next song, short press to switch modes, receiver tone, aux, volume control, mic, charging indicator. Long press to switch on and off, short press to pause, play. Short press to answer the phone when the call comes double click FM radio search station. Model DW21. TF car jack. Type-C charging power hole.
Power hole.
USB jack. Audio cable jack. Usage instructions. Power on off. Press and hold the key to turn on and press and hold the key to turn off. Pause 2. Pause play. Touch and hold the key to pause. Touch the key again to resume playback. 3. Previous next song. Long press the reverse key to play the previous song. Long press the forward key to play the next song. 4. Mode selections. Touch the key for mode selection. Each touch of the system will be in the radio. The blue / tooth mode. Aux mode. Switch between. 5. Radio mode. Double click the key to enter the system search mode, and the system will automatically save the radio station after the search is finished. Press and hold the key to select the next radio station. Press and hold the key to select the previous radio station. Tip. Select the previous radio station. Select the previous radio station. Tip. When using the radio function, please plug in the audio cable to do the sky. What? Tip. When using the radio function, please plug in the audio cable for the antenna. The reception effect will be better. TWS interconnection mode. When the two stations are on, touch the key to hear the beep to enter TWS interconnection mode. Power supply use instructions. Speaker built-in rechargeable cycle of 14,500 cylindrical battery. When the power is low, speaker will voice prompt low battery. Please promptly plug in the charging cable. Connect the 5 volts 1 amp charger to the device. The device is charged. When charging, the indicator lights up red, and when charging is complete, the red light goes out. Caution! 1. Please store or use this product in a normal environment, not in the fire or overheating environment. 2. Please do not put this product into any liquid. Has been any liquid spilled on this product? Please do not put this product into any liquid. Has any liquid spilled on the product? 3. Please use the charger with the rated input voltage required for this product to charge. Note that it should not exceed 5 volts 2 amps. Product parameters. Product name. Retro Bluetooth small speakers. Product model DW21. Speaker specifications: 45 millimeters, 4 ohms, 3 watts. Frequency response: 50 Hz to 18 kHz. Bluetooth version 5.0. Product size: 115.478, 60 SMM. Battery capacity: 3.7 volts, 500 milliamps. Playback time max: 3 hours. Mini: 8 hours. Signal to noise ratio: 80 decibels. Charging voltage: DC 1 amp, 5 volts 1 amp 4. Charging time 1.5 hours. Bluetooth distance 10 millimeters depending on the environment. Packing list: host, manual, audio cable, Type-C data cable. Support function: Bluetooth, UDIS, TF card, audio input, radio. Product list: mainframe, instructions, audio cable, Type-C, Type-C. That is a great typo. Type-C. Warranty card. Anything back here. Complete Chinese. So, Type-C.
It looks like it says TEPYC. You can't make this stuff up.
Type-C. That is a great typo. Type-C. Warranty card. Anything back here. Complete Chinese. So, I don't want to get this copyrighted, so basically here's the radio. Zoom out. Here's our volume knob. This is our power cable. The first and back cable. Model DW21. Material ABS and silica gel. Speaker 45 millimeters, 4 ohms, 3 watts. Battery 14500, 3.7 volts, 500 milliamps. Input DC 5 volts, 1 amps. Output 3 watts. Made in China. Type-C. TF box USB. Yes. To get to the inside of this, guessing you have to take these feet off. But whatever. But why does it have the Windows 8 ringtone?
Connected.
But yeah, and then I think get to the radio. I don't know. But anyway, this thing's confusing. That's gonna be it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. I just really wanted to document the type of English they used in this video here. But yeah, see you guys in the next one.
I knew this pizza reminded me of something, and it just occurred to me what it was as I was eating the rest of it. I used to work at a school, and the cafeteria there would make pizza as one of the things to have for lunch pretty much every day. And the pizzas were rectangular, which was very strange, and a very difficult shape to cook properly. And it was kind of like a thick crust pizza, very, very similar to this. Very similar consistency. This is exactly what that reminds me of. So I'll have this again tomorrow, and I'll be curious to see how it reheats. I will put this one, this is about, actually, you know what, I gotta change the battery in the camera. I just saw that it was at like, what is it, a 5%? 6%, I'm gonna change it out. New battery. We're gonna put this video of the Boston Harbor 52-inch Hugger ceiling fan by Fiends and Vintage 2008. I remember that year. It was an interesting year. It was a good year.
Hello guys, so today we're going to be doing an unboxing.
It's a boxing
and test video. This is what's in this box is,
it's a box.
I hope, a Boston Harbor 5-blade looking Casanova from Encon or Westinghouse, and I got this for Amazon for about $110 and waited a couple weeks to get shipped, and now it's here. So now it came, and I'm very pleased to find that it came in hopefully 2 boxes. The first box, which has way too much tape on it.
Typical.
Sorry, and straight pull on it just so I can make a good video, because nobody wants to see half the video, and it ends up being just ripping out the tape. There we go. So this is the Boston Harbor 5-blade anti-gas cutter. Looks like this is supposed to move 2,603 CFM.
That's it?
That is very pitiful
That's pathetic.
for something like this.
Well, actually,
I hope
hold
that's
on.
not what it actually is. I haven't.
There might be a discrepancy there because all these CFM measurements, they keep changing. The standards and how these are recorded keep changing. And I think the current one that's probably reflected on there is it's some type of an average between the 3 speeds, which is stupid. The measurement should be based off of, if they're not going to show it for all 3 speeds, it should be based off of what it does on high. Stupid and dumb. They're playing games with these numbers to try to make it look more efficient.
Told, however, that
Another interesting note, it just came up in my mind a couple days ago. Portable fans seem to be one of the only product categories remaining. Hopefully I'm not giving anybody any ideas with this. Portable fans seem to be the only remaining product category that's not infested with all sorts of bizarre efficiency ratings and regulations, such as this average CFM nonsense or whatever it is. Which is odd, because we have portable fans selling with horrifically inefficient shaded pole motors that draw 0.8 amps for a little 6-inch fan, which is crazy, and we could fix it with using a PSC motor, but that seems to be satisfactory. Then you get ceiling fans, and it's like, we got to use we got to use a DC motor because this 52-inch fan draws 0.8 amps. Well, so does the 6-inch desk fan, and that's okay? It doesn't make any sense.
That CFM rating on these are like total focus, so I'm not going to believe that for 3 seconds. I would expect for a fan like this to move a lot more air than that. Alright. There we go. So this is what we have inside. So it looks like we have here some blade brackets. Looks like this is a very nice antique brass finish.
Jeez.
Lovely. That looks so cool. Let's see with the pitch on there. And it's not too bad. I don't think it's Casablanca good, or even close, but not too bad for something like this.
Not everything from Casablanca is good either. In fact, a lot of it's not good.
Here is the manual. Just ignore this background sounds. It's my dad coming in the house. Here's the blades. So we have a date of 2025. These look like they're a nice walnut and oak finish. Looks like we have one more blade bracket. I have also been told these are a 4-5 motor. And we have 3 DEL light bulbs.
More DEL.
So I tested these in the Boston Harbor. They're actually not that bad. They don't flicker. And here is the non-reflective. Looks like this is like a bracket that you could use here. I kind of like that better because of the fact that I'm hanging this on the ceiling, and after that line bracket got sparked, I have a video of that with the barricade electrical. If you can refer to the other line system, that is not that tight. And here's everything else. We have motor housing, which is pretty typical. Very shiny finish. That's another thing that checks out is that the finish on here is very nice and shiny. Here's the globe. Got 3 in there. Just want to make sure none of them are broken. And they have a rubber band on there. So that's very nice. That's very convenient during the install. And also the glass won't, hopefully it won't break or shatter. Who knows what could happen. Here is the switch housing cap if you don't want to use the light kit. I have mixed feelings about that system.
That's nice that it includes that.
Material waste, but
It is, but
I do think it is quite cool.
Hampton Bay used to always include that.
The type where you have to use the switch housing, you put the light kit on, I like that better. Here is the hardware.
The software.
So you have these foamy thingies, you have wire nuts, you have bolt pops, all that stuff. Here's the light kit. It's a 3-lamp socket. Yep, looks very nice. Nothing like a Boston Harbor ceiling fan. They have a very good quality. At least that, you have to make rating 1.5 looking one. Thing-wise, very good quality. I hope this is just as good. And last we have the motor, which isn't too light either. It's got a pretty good weight. Has that safety cable. which is standard in Canada, but not in the US. Oh, this is just perfect. There's a wattage limiter in here. Good news is we can just cut that out. Yeah, this is a pretty nice motor. I mean, it is probably only a 153, but it is pretty thick. So, yeah. And here's our date information. This was made October of 2025. It's rated at 0.8 amps, which is not a horrible power draw for a 52-inch fan.
It is for a 6-inch desk fan, though.
Bearings are silent, as they should be. And yes, this is in fact 4-5 motor.
Huh.
So you can install it with 5 blades or 4.
Very interesting.
That is really cool. I mean, I kind of have mixed feelings about that system. I do think it is cool you can install 4 or 5 blades in one hand. I don't know a lot of people who really put 4 blades on it. I feel like the vast majority of people would put 5, so I do think that is kind of useless, but it does give you some variety of look that you can do. And plus, that one blade that you use to be a 4 blade, that's kind of wasting material. But whatever it is, this is a really, really nice fan. I really am liking it so far. I think it is safe to say that this is definitely going to move way more than 2,600 CFM is set on the box. Which I already said, those CFM ratings are quite bogus. So, anyway, I'm going to put the fan back in the box. I'm not going to test it tonight because I just got off work and I don't want to do this stuff while I'm tired, so next month will be tomorrow when I hopefully don't have to work. I got the motor installed and it already looks very nice. I'm going to plug it up and hopefully this doesn't turn into ceiling fan blows up. Well, it's definitely working, so that's a good sign. The low and now off. Flip the switch up. Yep, this looks like it has pretty good work to it. Yeah, I think this will be a pretty good fan. There's one extra step I'm going to take, however, and that is removing this dumb silver bot, which
What happened? I missed it.
oh man. Yep, this looks like it has pretty good hook to it. Yeah, I think this will be a pretty good fan. There's one extra step I'm going to take, however, and that is removing this dumb silver bot, which
That's pretty good.
oh man. I find this super humorous because that just tells you how badly built these things are. Yeah, this will definitely be cut out. Well, I'm definitely going to upload this on my short page. And there it is, fully installed.
That looks pretty
I
nice.
have to say, this looks very nice for a modern day ceiling fan.
I agree.
This fan here looks perfectly reasonable, and I mean the ceiling fans sold today, in my opinion, are very hideous. This ceiling fan here does not look hideous at all. As a matter of fact, I think it looks very nice. This fan has nice antique brass finish with the nice oak blade. I chose the medium oak because that's going to fit my room a bit better. And the light kit I don't think looks too ugly either. It has these shades which I think are okay. I mean, there are certain shades that I think would look better on this fan than this. But, I mean, these are okay. I mean, there's certainly much uglier shades.
Now those shades are not old school looking, but I have no objections to those at all. I think this fan is a very good combination of an old school color scheme, but something that's not so old looking that it would never sell anymore. Because there are still some people that would look for a fan like this. If you have a paneled ceiling, you might want something like this even if you don't like old stuff. Or if you have a situation where there's 2 or 3 fans and one of them breaks, you might want something that looks like this to match the older 2 or 1 that remain. So there are use cases for something like this, and I think that this is a very good way for Boston Harbor or whatever the OEM is of these things to kind of combine a newer aesthetic but keeping an older color scheme that's going to work in older environments. So it kind of appeals to 2 audiences at once. I think this is really quite reasonable for something sold today.
With that, like, I actually have a shade that I'm talking about out here. I'm gonna pull it out for you real quick. These are the shades I'm talking about. See, it has a nice octagon with dots on it.
Those look a lot older.
You can still buy those shades today at Lowe's. Which, the ones that I did go to, you could buy in the physical store, but there were only 3.
That's something that's worth underscoring. I've noticed this too. The Lowe's, way more than the Home Depot, has a very nice selection of old school light glass. Not just ceiling fan shades, but also for those old school ceiling lights, you know, with the square shade that's kind of curved, and a couple of like 50s era styling globes for different types of light kits that you might find in a bathroom and so forth. Really quite interesting to see that stuff still available. And there's quite the selection too.
On the shelf, so I don't know if they're discontinued, but I hope not. So one of these days I will go back to that Lowe's and see if I can pick up some of those. And I mean, if I remember correctly, they are $3 a shade, which is pretty good, I think.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
I think those will be worth it to put on this fan. Maybe put some like frosty, put some of that frost on it to get the glass to frost look. But all seriousness, I think these shades still look pretty reasonable on this fan. I mean, in my opinion, there are ways to make the fan look better, such as putting the shades that I was talking about earlier on that light kit, like it did on the Encon Casanova, which this fan is imitating.
I agree, but you have to keep in mind that no one's going to buy it, or very, very few people are going to buy it if it looks like it came straight out of the 80s.
And also, make the ceiling fan blades cane. I mean, I don't think Boston Harbor, the people from Boston Harbor are watching this, but Boston
You never
Harbor,
know.
If you are watching this video, please make these with the cane blades on it. That will be
Boston Harbor may not be watching, but Permawick might be watching.
probably the best thing you guys can do as a business who still makes pretty reasonable looking ceiling fans. And also, it would be really cool to have this fan in polished brass because I have a lot of nostalgia value to Encon Casanova ceiling fans, but the ones that I see...
Polished brass is one of my favorite finishes, and that is a slight disappointment that this is only available in the antique brass. Polished brass is... some people have told me that polished brass is starting to come back in style. And I haven't really seen anything come back in polished brass. What I have seen is stuff come back in like a gold tone, but it's a matte finish. It's not quite antique brass. It's more like polished brass, but take away the shine. So to some extent, brass tones might be coming back in style. Unfortunately, nowhere near as much as the stupid black, white, silver color scheme is still predominant, but there's a chance it might come back. You know, trends always tend to come back around. But I think an array of white, antique brass and polished brass, and then maybe something like oil rub bronze or some kind of a darker color scheme. Would have been nice to see these in a couple different options. Polished brass fans are hard to find in good condition unless you get one that's new in the box, you know, from the 80s. A lot of times if it's been on the ceiling for 30 years, it's going to be tarnished. So it would be nice if there was a good newer brass fan, polished brass fan, even just to buy it to take the brackets, because the brackets always get screwed up when people take them down and stack them up without taking the screws. There is a Boston Harbor model that's white and brass. I'm very curious about that one. And since we've now seen 2 models get purchased that actually look like the picture, I'm tempted to order that white and brass one because it probably looks like the picture does.
Are just the polished brass ones. I have personally not seen an antique brass Casanova, so this fan really just doesn't have the same nostalgia to it because it just looked too different from the ones that I saw when I was a kid. But all seriousness, this fan looks very nice for something made today. Not to mention it moves pretty good air for something made today also. So we're gonna demonstrate the fan here. Here's the light. I am using 360 watt incandescent light bulb.
It's incandescent.
I did not use the DELs that came with the fan because the DELs don't dim. And of course I have this on a dimmer setup. So you can dim it down to whatever you want if you do use dimmable bulbs. Even at a kind of ridiculous setting like that. So we're going to plug in the Master Force power meter so I can get a reading on the power draw and all that stuff. And we're going to take a measure of the CFM rating too because I feel like it is important
that's good.
to mention that in the video.
I was hoping that data would be present here.
If I remember correctly, this fan is rated to draw 55 watts and 0.8 amps.
That power factor must be atrocious then.
0.8 amps and 55 watts, that's a pretty abysmal power factor. I don't think that it's going to be anywhere near that discrepancy.
It's probably wrong.
So this is low speed, and I can't get a reading from the anemometer, so we're just gonna not have a CFM reading for that. I gave the anemometer a little bit of a push, and it didn't seem to do much. So we're gonna just skip that step and move on to the power information. This thing is drawing 22 watts and 0.2 amps.
What was the powerful factor?
That one I was able to do a CFM rating for. So we're going to say we're getting a reading of, we're going to say 256. And I did do the area of the fan here, and I got 13.4 is what it is. So how you do that formula is you do the diameter of the fan divided by 2. So in this case is
The radius.
fan, and you have the and that would be converted to 4.3 meters, because you do have to do some conversions. So it would be 2.2, because that's about the feet of the diameter of the fan. So then you just do pi that measurement squared. And then you also have to account for the area in the middle where there is no air, which I calculated a 9-inch circle. So then I just did 0.75. I just did pi 0.75 squared. And then I just took those two outcome numbers, and I got 13.4. So then you have to multiply that number.
For the sake of simplicity, I typically just use 14 for a 52-inch fan. If you want to be really precise, which this is not precise to begin with, obviously the center where there's no air moving does vary per model, but I find that 14 is close enough just to make it an easy round number to work with. It doesn't make a big difference to the calculation.
Number by whatever it says in the anometer in feet per minute.
I hate feet per minute. It's a stupid unit.
In this case, I got 256. I times that by 13.4. And I got something like 3,420 CFM. And the power draw.
Okay, so there's something here to note about the CFM rating that's being calculated. Half of the fan does not have the restriction of the ceiling on top of it. So the performance number that we're going to get in this video is probably going to be significantly higher than what you would get in a real world application where this is installed with the blades 8 inches from the ceiling all the way around, or whatever that number is.
On this is 41 watts and 0.34 amps, which is quite efficient for something like this. I definitely feel the air stirring up pretty good in here. And now high.
Duh.
That is pretty much up to full speed now. We're going to take another anometer measurement. We're going to take a measurement of 413.
That's pretty respectable.
We take that times 13.4, and we got 5,534 CFM.
Very reasonable.
I think what it said on the box is something like 2,620, I believe, or something like that. So that goes to show you that the CFM ratings are totally worthless. I mean, you can take a ceiling fan and another ceiling fan, different brands, and they would have the same CFM rating, but they would perform totally different.
Correct. That is 100% accurate.
And this thing is drawing 63 watts and 0.51 amps. So this thing right here for airflow and power draw, this thing is really quite a good performer. Now, talking about price with this ceiling fan, I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comments box saying, oh, it's so expensive. Well, this thing is not cheap. This thing, I believe, is about $98 at cheapest. However, I bought mine from Amazon, which was $111 if I remember correctly. And I decided to buy the one that's on Amazon.
I don't think that's bad at all. If you go to the other Home Depot, you're not going to see much of anything below 150. And those ones that are below 150, with the exception of the Littleton, which is also getting up there now, are all hideous. So I think 100 and change, 100 and 110 for something like this is totally acceptable.
Amazon as opposed to that other website. I believe it was Murrow Supreme or something like that. They have some Boston Harbor ceiling fans on that website, and the prices on there do seem pretty nice, but on that website it is, if you don't, that is without the shipping fee, which that website does charge a shipping fee, so you also got to account for that too. So I believe the shipping fee for this was something like $20. So at the end of the day, I would be paying more for this fan than I would on the Amazon website. Now I like Amazon. I've had pretty good results with them, and the good thing is that if the item gets damaged, which since this is a new product and it's at a reputable retailer, I would not expect it to be broken. But if it does in fact get broken in shipping, you can return it and they will just pick up the item from your house and you don't have to ship it back, which would include additional fees and all that. Whereas the other website, you probably would have to ship it back to the place and you would get a refund, but at the end of the day, some of that money gets lost due to the cost of you having to ship it back.
I hate when money gets lost.
So I would say buying them from Amazon is the best option. Unless you live nearby that one store. If you live nearby that one store, that's awesome. You don't have to pay any additional fees at all, and you get the fan for fairly cheap. But unfortunately, the very vast majority of the world, that store is not near them. So
That's
I
unfortunate.
would say for that vast major majority, Amazon is the way to go. And I would say for $111, I think this thing is pretty good. I think this thing was worth every penny. This thing is not ugly. It looks like it came straight out of the 90s. And it's not stinking silver.
That alone is worth the
And
price.
it actually performs great. It's a nice traditional style. This is what I would say an economy product should be. This thing was clearly built out to a price, but it was done so within reason. The airflow is still pretty good. The 5,500 CFM to me would be the average to above average range for a 52-inch fan. Now, you also got to account that these readings are being done in my testing rig, so I will do another CFM measurement when I get this installed in the bedroom to see if it really does make a difference, because I am pretty sure since it's a hover, it will make a difference. So, in a few days, I will be installing this in the bedroom, and I will be showing you guys the CFM in there. And I'll reverse it just to show you guys that the reverse does work. I mean, this is a brand new product. I expect the reverse to work, but you know, there could be something weird about that. I'll put it back and forward. now off. Well, there you have it, my brand new Boston Harbor Encon Casanova looking ceiling fan. Thank you, have a nice day.
Don't tell me what to do. Alright, I think that's the last video that we're gonna watch. I'm just about done cleaning up here. And then I gotta do a bunch of other things tonight. I'm very intrigued about that other Boston Harbor model that I've mentioned before, that white and polished brass one. Okay, the kitchen is all cleaned up. No, interesting pizza tonight. Interesting to cook something like that. I've never done that before. I'm kind of curious now about frozen pizzas. And maybe I'll pick up another one, just of some random brand, whatever one is cheapest, just to see how it compares, because I have no idea what a frozen pizza is supposed to be like, or what it's typically like. But that was pretty decent for something that came out of the freezer. And very interesting Boston Harbor fan. Seemed to be very respectable, which, you know, if it's anything like the other one that I tested, makes good sense. Bah.